Strong Pokemon. Weak Pokemon. That is only the selfish perception of people. A truly skilled trainer should try and win with their favorites. An Elite Four member once told me that, and I took it to heart. And then, a step further. I decided to win with my favorite, Singular. This is the story of how a lone Sneasel and I became the champions of SInnoh. We begin our journey alongside our rival, Chat, when Professor Rowan kindly gives us our Sneasel, which we will name Hana, after the character from Yakuza 4 which we'd been playing before starting this challenge. When we fight our rival for the first time, it goes pretty well, so I'll take this time to lay the ground rules of our challenge. We'll only be using Hana, we won't be evolving her. I'll save at every new town and after every boss fight. If I white out, I go back to the most recent save. I also won't be using battle items. Hana doesn't need any performing-enhancing drugs to succeed. And finally, since HMs are still a thing in Gen 4, we'll have a few Pokemon on our team strictly for HM use, but they won't fight. Full disclosure, they do technically take part in double battles, but double battle trainers won't fight you if you only have one Pokemon anyway, so the alternative is just skipping the fight entirely. I figure it's still within the spirit of the challenge. Plus, they're like level 5, so they don't really provide any help, outside of eating hits here and there. So now we can see Hana's stats, and I know she's a neutral nature, which I actually like. It's not what I'd choose for a competitive set, but when Sneasel is your only Pokemon and has to do everything, having it a little more well-rounded can be beneficial. And her ability in her focus prevents her from being flinched, which actually comes in handy more often than you'd think against all those trainers who try and use Fake Out. Looking at you, Mars. After we catch Bidoof and Starly, our HM users, we move on to our next rival battle. It's here I realize one of the biggest challenges of this run: stat drops. Chat Starly growls me, lowering my attack. Now, ordinarily in this situation, you could just switch out to remove the stat drop, but since Sneasel is the only Pokemon, I don't have that option. Sneasel also doesn't learn any attack boosting moves by level up. Though it can learn Swords Dance via TM, you get it from the game corner, and I don't really want to grind out the game corner, and generally Sneasel's too frail to be using setup moves anyway. Besides, I'm not going to have any room for that on my moveset, you'll see later. So any stat drops we get through the duration of this challenge, we're dealing with for the whole battle. Fortunately here, it's not much of an issue just yet. Between my use of Screech and Chat, just taunting me twice in a row, we actually win handily. But moments later, I run into the first real hurdle of the run. Youngster Sebastian. See, this little turd boy has himself a Machop. For those who may be unaware, Sneasel is a dark ice type, which means it has a 4 times weakness to fighting type moves, meaning as soon as this Machop touched Hana, she basically crumpled like a wet paper bag. So I get back to my last save and quickly knock out the rival fight again, while I devise a plan to deal with youngster Sebastian. My plan? Just walk around him. He's an optional trainer, so I leave him to his hobby of staring at stairs, hoping a chump with a Sneasel walks up. After acquiring the TM for Rock Smash, I make the biggest mistake of the entire run, nearly destroying any chance I had to complete it. I teach Hana Rock Smash. If anyone else tries to do this challenge, my biggest piece of advice is do not teach your Sneasel Rock Smash. You'll see the repercussions later, but I teched it on thinking it would help against Roark, but guess what? Neutral damage feint attack, which I learned immediately after teaching Hana Rock Smash, just does more damage than super effective Rock Smash. It's not worth it. It's a terrible decision. It cripples a move slot until you can reach the move deleter all the way in Canalave City. Feint attack will basically be Hana's primary move for most Pokemon throughout the entire run. Unfortunately, it's the best Dark-type move Sneasel can learn in Gen 4. Night Slash is only for Weavile. Now we move on to our first gym battle, Roark, the Rock-type gym leader. Sneasel's weak to Rock, so I'm a little worried, so I grind. Like, a lot. Maybe too much. Look, I was worried, okay? Hana can't take a hit, and after youngster Sebastian's little demon, I'm protective of her, and I may have had a previous bad experience with Roark in a randomizer run I did a few months prior.
Let's go, Malcolm. Breeder Malcolm. Oh! Opening with a goddamn Arceus, huh?
Anyway, after leveling Hana to a not at all cheating level of 20, I take on Roark. Despite the level discrepancy, Hana is unable to one-shot Roark's weakest Pokemon. This worries me. because Sneasel, being as frail as it is, will often take huge damage if it can't beat its enemy in one hit. We're basically aiming to take everything out in one shot in this run, or we risk losing it all. Luckily, Geodude opts to Stealth Rock, a useless move given we aren't switching, and we're able to take it out and remain healthy. Roark's next Pokemon, Onix, misses its attack, so once again we escape unscathed, and we're feeling lucky. But now we have to deal with its ace, Cranidos. This has me scared, because Cranidos can hit like a truck. And at a higher level than Onix was, I fear Hana won't be able to secure the one-hit KO and take a Rock Tomb to the mouth. But, turns out I was worrying for nothing. She easily destroys the Cranidos with a single strike, and after looking it up afterwards, I find out Cranidos' base defense stat is a laughably low 40. With Roark behind us, we move on to an easy double battle with Lucas against a couple Galactic Grunts. Not really notable, but Hana does get to show off her inability to be flinched, which is pretty cool. Now on to Valley Windworks and Mars. This battle always scares me because I lost a previous randomized run here to a Hitmonlee with Dragon Rage. Let's not bring it up. But once again, Hana sweeps as Mars tries to flinch her. Easy after all. Then we hang out with Cheryl in the forest for a while before moving on to the next gym leader, Giratina. At this point, I'm feeling confident. As an Ice type, Sneasel is a positive matchup here, and we're still a little over level due to all the grinding before Roark. Unfortunately, things turn immediately dicey when Turtwig survives a hit and uses Reflect, forcing him to rely on Icy Wind, a special attack, and Sneasel's special attack is, well, it's not good. It's terrible, actually. After Reflect wears off, Gardenia's Roserade hangs on with 1 HP from a full-powered Feint attack and hits us with Stun Spore. Luckily, the RNG favors us, and a quick attack we're able to outspeed, take it out, and secure the second badge. Next, we find ourselves against Team Galactic's Jupiter, who I honestly always forget exists. She does, however, have a Skuntank, which, as the name would suggest, is incredibly tanky. I can't hit it super effectively, and it really doesn't take much damage from my attacks, so I'm forced to rely on Rock Smash to try and lower its defense. The one time I actually use Rock Smash, still, I don't recommend it. But Hana actually gets a crit, and we beat it before things can get too bad. Our next gym is the Ghost-type leader, Fantina. Honestly, it's a joke. All her Pokemon are weak to Feint Attack, and Hana knocks her flat without breaking stride. Third badge acquired. Then we run into a serious problem. Our next rival fight, and Mach Punch. This is a fighting-type move with priority. This means that no matter how fast Hana is, it will hit first unless we use a priority move of our own. And we've gotten rid of Quick Attack for Slash by this point, so we don't have priority until Ice Shard at level 49. But after realizing that Hana is bulky enough to survive a single Mach Punch, rather than grind for hours to learn Ice Shard, since we just saved after beating Fantina moments before, I opt for the Brute Force strategy, trying over and over until Slash lands a critical hit and knocks out Monferno before it can use its second Mach Punch. This actually only takes a few tries, since Slash's heightened critical hit ratio gives me pretty good odds to hit one sooner rather than later. The rest of the team really isn't much of an issue. Next stop, the fighting-type gym leader Maylene. Oh, but first, this happens.
I also realized, I've been worried about the fighting gym this whole time. Excuse me?
Yeah, that's another trainer we'll be avoiding. Anyway, on to Maylene. This is the gym I've been stressing over the most, Sneasel's worst enemy, fighting types. But luckily, just before this gym, you're able to acquire the TM for Aerial Ace, possibly the most important move in the entire run. With a flying type move, Sneasel was able to conquer fighting types with incredible ease. Between that and Dig, another TM I picked up to take care of Lucario, who isn't weak to flying, Maylene is actually a walk in the park. We leave with our heads held high and our 4th badge in our pocket. That is, until everything comes crashing down. But first, we have a rival fight to take care of before the next gym. It's actually not too bad since for some reason our rival decided to take Mach Punch off his Infernape, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Though it is worth noting that Staravia and later Staraptor have Intimidate, meaning that every rival battle going forward will be operating at -1 attack stage, since he always leads with the big bird. And now, Crash or Wake. This was a gym that was never even on my radar. After beating Maylene, I thought it would be smooth sailing until the Steel-type gym, but I couldn't be more wrong. I was caught among the crashing waves and dashed against the rocks, left trembling in this man's wake. His first Pokemon, Gyarados, has Intimidate. Remember how I just mentioned that's an issue with the rival? Well, here we don't have super effective attacks into any of his Pokemon, and on the first attempt, I'm unable to even defeat his first Pokemon. Things are looking dire for Hana's hopes of becoming League Champion. Crash or Wake is a wall I'm not sure how to scale. It's also worth noting that this is when Hana hits level 49 and learns Ice Shard. It's worth noting because this is when we see the consequences of teaching her Rock Smash way back when. See, for youngsters who may not know this, before Gen 5, TMs were single use, meaning if I delete Aerial Ace or Dig, I can never get them back. I can't delete Rock Smash because its HMs are stupid. And Fate Attack is my best move, meaning either Aerial Ace or Dig have to go. If you're curious why Ice Shard is so important, it's a physical ice move, of which there are precious few in Gen 4, and also has priority, allowing us to circumvent enemy priority, like Mach Punch. An amazing move for Sneasel to have. I think long and hard, and ultimately decide to delete Aerial Ace. I'm really not sure if this was the right choice, and you'll see why later, but I consider Dig too valuable an asset in the Steel Gym, which otherwise walls Sneasel completely. Seriously, don't teach Sneasel Rock Smash. This would have been so much easier if I'd never made that mistake. So after a heavy loss, I spent some time trying to think of clever ways to beat Crasher Wake, including wandering around the underground looking for shards to learn Ice Punch with, but it's really all a waste of time and I settle on good old-fashioned grinding. Embarrassingly, I end up losing the rival fight in front of the gym this time because Infernape actually decides to attack me and gets a burn with Flame Wheel, crippling my damage, so I have to do all the grinding again. Next time, I beat the rival handily, and now we once again face off against the Master of the Seas himself, Crasher Motherfucking Wake. This time, Hana is able to take him down with relative ease. All she needed was to be, 23 levels higher than his strongest Pokemon. Look, I never said this was a noble pursuit. Sometimes you just gotta break through with brute force. Anyway, 5th badge in hand, we move on, and Cynthia asks us to take something to her grandmother because I guess she doesn't like talking to her or something. Whatever, Cynthia's family drama isn't my problem. Let's go. I meet Cynthia's grandma, and I realize why she doesn't like talking to her.
Cynthia's grandma. We go talk to this thing. She's gonna be like, "Oh, my granddaughter needs to find a husband."
Then Cyrus shows up, and I fight him. He's also got a Sneasel, but ours is better, and the rest of his team is weak to ice, so Hana eats him for breakfast. Then we run into Cynthia outside, and I really have to wonder why I'm delivering something to her grandma when she's coming here anyway? Anyway, whatever, I'm not getting into it. Let's go fight another gym. Crap, another rival battle. These have been tough so far, but we've navigated them pretty well, right? Well, that's all about to change, because now our rival has a new friend, Heracross. Now our rival isn't just a bump in the road, he has become the greatest hurdle for this entire challenge. This is the final form of our mistake of adding Rock Smash all the way before the first gym. It has snowballed into a situation I now find myself in, standing before a Heracross without Aerial Ace and no way to get another Flying-type move on Sneasel. After some time, I decide on my only recourse, Return. See, now that we're in Canalave, we have access to the move deleter, so we can get rid of Rock Smash and replace it with a useful move. Return is a normal type move that increases base power based on how much your Pokemon loves you. Seeing as how Hana is the only Pokemon I use and I reload the save anytime she faints, her happiness should be maxed out, so Return's power will be as high as it can be, and it will hit Heracross for neutral damage unlike most of my other moves, which it resists. Unfortunately, even after a little more grinding, Return doesn't one-shot Heracross. However, we survive the Brick Break and take it out, but our health is low enough that the rival's Floatzel can just snipe us off with Aqua-Jet. Okay, another loss, but we're getting closer. I give Hana a Figgy Berry, which restores, 20 HP? I thought it did more than that. Well, whatever. It's enough to survive Aqua-Jet, and we beat our rival and his stupid freaking Heracross. Now we finally made it to the Steel-type gym leader, Byron. He's Rourke's dad, if anyone cares. I don't. Anyway, we sweep him with Dig, even though I accidentally dig in front of an Earthquaking Steelix. Hana's just too powerful. Then we run over to Iron Island, give Riley a kiss on the lips, and he gives us the TM for strength, and we abandon him in a cave. Now on to the Lake Tours. First up, we fight Knockoff Clary and the Witch Boy, followed by Mars. They're both pretty easy, and I dig at their Bronzors to see if their abilities levitate or heatproof for later after they evolve. They are levitate, but they never actually evolve them, which is odd. Anyway, before we can go see Jupiter again, we need Rock Climb. So we have to fight the next gym leader, Candace, of the Ice-type gym. She has her own Sneasel, but Hana quickly shows her superiority. Her Piloswine knows Stone Edge, which is a little scary, but Hana tanks it and sweeps Candace with relative ease. Jupiter doesn't actually want to fight, so we move on to the Galactic Base and another Cyrus fight. Spoiler alert, he still sucks and we knock him out. Then we fight Clory and the Watch Boy again, and he sucks too, and the Galactic Base is all done. Then we head to Mount Cornet to foil Galactic's plans once and for all. I actually end up losing the double battle with our rival against the Galactic admin since double battles are a little unpredictable, but I do a little grinding and I'm able to beat them on the second try. But of course, we don't make it in time and Cyrus summons Giratina. Cynthia shows up and my actual hell begins. I hate the distortion world. It sucks. It's just mind-numbing wandering through nothing, and it takes forever. And if you misclick and hop down a ledge you weren't supposed to, you just get to do it all over again. There's no challenge. There's no fun. It just sucks. I sped this clip up as fast as it'll go, and I still need to cut it down because the distortion world just takes so freaking long. But okay. I reach Cyrus, just gotta beat him, and then we're right here, except, oh wait, I don't, because now his Crobat survives an Ice Shard and takes Hana out, and I have to do it all over again. I won't make you watch that all again, but trust me when I say it sucked just as much the second time. Fueled by a rage of the distortion world, Hana and I are able to easily beat Cyrus this time, and now we move on to the big man himself, Giratina. Hana looks upon the god of this realm itself and doesn't falter. Giratina should fear her. She slays the Titan with ease and obliterates the distortion world once and for all. When Hana walks, even gods tremble. Hope you're watching, Cynthia. You're next. But not really, because we have another gym to take care of. Volkner's honestly a joke because we have Dig and he doesn't even have an air balloon or anything to deal with ground types. Remember when he had Octillery and Diamond and Pearl? That was honestly a really cool tech for an electric type gym leader, and I wish they'd kept it in. Anyway, now we go say hi to Jasmine because she's wonderful, and also she gives us Waterfall, and we knock out Victory Road without any issue. Now, on to the Elite Four. But first, the final rival fight. This fight was nearly our undoing. Staraptor, Heracross, and Infernape all have close combat. A move so powerful that Sneasel has no hope of survival if it gets hit. Our only recourse? Train until Hana is powerful enough to take out all of these Pokemon in a single blow, even with the Intimidate drop. Bird and the Ape aren't an issue. We have Ice Shard and Dig respectively to deal with them. Our true foe is our old nemesis, Heracross. Before we were able to defeat it because we could survive a single Brick Break and two-shot it. But even at level 100, Sneasel isn't surviving a close combat from a Heracross. I curse myself a final time for teaching Hana Rock Smash and deleting Aerial Ace as I grind relentlessly to the point that she can KO Heracross with a single return. In the end, the strength of our bonds will fell our greatest foe. Or the strength of grinding, like a lot, like literally for hours. It was rough. After several failed attempts, I eventually realized I do in fact need to get her to level 100 in order to stand a chance. All the grinding done, I stand before our rival, the greatest thorn in our side. Nothing more I can do. If we lose here, we've lost the run. Hana is as strong as she can be. And finally, she's able to take down Heracross with a single return. The rest of the rival's team falls easily, and we've done it. We have finally made it to the Elite Four. First, Aaron, the Bug Trainer. His Yanmega falls easily to an Ice Shard. Next he sends out... Are you kidding me? He has a Heracross too? Luckily, we trained for this exact scenario. Return takes it out easily. Scizor's next, and it's a little scary. A Technician-boosted Bullet Punch could hurt. Luckily for us, it doesn't go for a priority move, and we one-shot. The rest of his team isn't really an issue for Hana. Now onto the Ground-type trainer Bertha, aka Kanto's Agatha, who fled the country and changed her name after being caught for tax evasion. Her first two Pokemon go down easily. Then we run into Rhyperior. This thing is bulky enough to survive a super effective Ice Shard, and it hits me with Avalanche? Not a super effective rock-type move, but Avalanche? Seriously? How is she an Elite Four member? Anyway, we easily knock out her Gliscor, but her Powdon managed to hang on with a sliver of health, allowing it to get a yawn off. She heals to full, and Hana is left sleeping as she barrages me with Stone Edges, and we lose. I guess she just heard me insulting her. Okay, let's try this again. We managed to beat Aaron, though Scizor makes things slightly tougher this time. Overall, it's a clean win. Now back to Bertha. The battle plays out the same until Hippowdon. This time, rather than Ice Shard, I go for Return. This does less damage, but because of that, Bertha doesn't heal this time, allowing me to take it out with an Ice Shard on the subsequent turn. Next up, the Fire-type trainer Flint. He's honestly kind of a joke. Much like his friend Volkner, he really has no answers to me just clicking Dig over and over, and he goes down as probably the easiest member of the Elite Four for this challenge. Next up, the Psychic-type trainer Lucian, or as I call him, Will without his mask on. Despite having a poor matchup into Sneasel on paper, he does have a Bronzong. In Gen 4, Steel resists Dark, so I can't take it out in one hit, and its Gyro Ball does massive damage, but Hana survives and we're able to defeat Lucian without much more issue. Elite Four down, all that stands between us and becoming the SInnoh champion is Cynthia, notorious for being one of the most challenging champions in all of Pokemon. She opens with Spiritomb. It's the most concerning Pokemon to me because before Fairy type, it had no weakness, it's relatively bulky, and it has access to Will-O-Wisp. If it survives long enough to get a burn onto Hana, we likely lose the fight right then and there. Instead, it opts for Silverwind, and gets the Omniboost too. Guess that's why she's the champ. And then she heals. Things are looking bad. All stats +1 now, full HP, I'm scared. But Hana isn't. She lands a critical hit, laughing in the face of Spiritom's Omniboost and taking it down from full HP. Hana isn't here to play, she's here to win. Next is her Lucario, which could be concerning if it goes for priority move, but luckily it doesn't and we're able to one-shot it with Dig. Togekiss is taken out by Ice Shard before it has a chance to act. Then she sends out Garchomp, her ace, feared by trainers everywhere. Except it's 4 times weak to Ice, so it's the easiest Pokemon on our team for Hana to deal with. Sorry, champ, bad matchup. Then she sends out Milotic, which honestly I forgot she had and had not prepared for. I don't really have a way to deal with it. Luckily, Hana is able to take it out through sheer brute force in a few returns. Her last Pokemon, Roserade, is also weak to Ice, so 1 more Ice Shard and that's it. We've defeated Cynthia, and a single Sneasel stands as the champion of the Sinnoh region. Cynthia walks us to the Hall of Fame, and we immortalize ourselves forever in the annals of history, as the greatest Sneasel who ever lived. Always remember, truly skilled trainers try and win with their favorites. Even if that means overleveling their favorites an absurd amount to the point that you just one-shot everything. Thanks for watching. This is the first edited video content I've done, ever. And I plan to make more videos like this, and maybe try some new stuff as I learn more about video editing. If you enjoyed, you can always subscribe here if you'd like to see more. I also post the full VODs of most of my streams on YouTube. If you want to see me live, check me out on twitch.tv/chaosagreed. I stream all sorts of stuff, including a lot of Pokemon. If you enjoyed this, I plan to do something similar. Once I reach 50 subs on Twitch, I'll be ramping up the difficulty and trying to beat Pokemon White 2 using only Swinub. Thanks again and have a great day.